Summer is slipping away, friends. The warm days are almost gone. This week I've got tropicals to move inside, a brand new PVC palm structure, and Thursday night a big freeze. So stick around and you'll want to watch the soap opera at the end. I was laughing at my hair this morning as I'm out here trying to garden. It is so early in the morning, it's beautiful. You can see the sun coming up in the reflection in the glass behind me. My hair is really, really nice. I think I look so attractive, not. But I am already out here gardening because it's so nice and warm and it feels like summertime. And it's so hard to do what I'm doing, putting things away when it's summertime feeling, but I know like in just a week or two it could be really cold. So yeah, my struggle continues as my hair gets bigger and bigger. If you remember, these are the Alocasia that I overwintered just as the tubers. So they grew maybe 2 meters at the most compared to some of my others that I overwintered and kept the height. So that just shows you at this point 2 meters as opposed to some of them are probably 4 meters. So it's a big difference, and it took all summer for them to get this way. Out here in the garden as I am out watering on this beautiful morning. I'm just sad, it's hard to see how big this Poinsettia red banana is, or inset. I'm never quite sure how to say it. It's really, really beautiful here next to the koi pond. But it needs to come out and get ready for winter, as do these, which are just so tall and big. This one is probably a good 8 feet tall right here. They're just so beautiful along here. I like them around the koi pond. And you guys just got fed. I don't know why you're still hungry, like little piggies. It's not even 6 a.m. and I'm at Home Depot buying PVC, and I'm trying to go a cheaper route, so we will see what happens here. If I go 3/4 of an inch pipe, PVC pipe, as opposed to 1 inch, it's definitely a savings and probably a little bit easier to put together. We will see, but that's part of my experiment because the price, as you can see, is different and I want to save some money. And the joy of going to the store really early is I still make it back in time to watch the beautiful sunrise over the Hudson River. Not a day goes by that I don't look out at sunrise and just am amazed at how beautiful it is here. But that is why I like getting up early. And a lot of chaos going on out here, even though it's really beautiful this morning. I've got to get these palm structures going. I'm not fully ready to do it yet, but at least I'm setting everything up. Phoenix sylvestris, or Sylvester as I call it, looking quite good in the morning light. And the lavender is still going. I can't even believe how long this has bloomed this summer. I guess the lack of rain really helped it, but it is completely happy at this point in the sunny morning garden. I do think I'm going to move this flying dragon orange. It's just, I know it was here before I planted my Mediterranean fan palm, but I just think it's better suited someplace else. I kind of like the way this looks up against the Chinese fan palm right here. And I love the Musabastu. I love that the Musabastu really likes being on the hill right here. It's really kind of grand on the staircase. And I'm going to be so sad when the frost hits and I lose this beautiful canopy, because it's just so nice here with the clumping bamboo. I know a lot of you think I don't have any clumping bamboo. I do have clumping bamboo, and I do have running bamboo, but I do love this beautiful canopy of Musabastu all over the place. It just adds to the fact that I like to pretend I live someplace else other than the Hudson Valley in New York. I do get a lot of riverboat cruises this time of year. I guess they're looking at the fall foliage and the mountains and everything, and I always wonder, are they using their binoculars and looking onto my property and going, wait, are those palm trees there? It always makes me laugh, because I just wonder if anyone is looking from the river, but who knows? It's a big question. A nice, big, beautiful full moon tonight. Evita is enjoying it as I'm sitting on the deck with a great glass of wine. Such a nice, warm fall evening under a full moon, and I want to take some video and pictures tonight. The video did not turn out great, but the pictures made it almost look like daytime, and this is midnight. And I just love the way everything is just glowing, even with the lights on the bridge. Really pretty. It is not even 7 o'clock in the morning here, and I am already down here trying to figure out things I should have done in July. I know I said on one of my videos in July I was going to experiment with a PVC palm structure that was not for my Trachycarpus fortunae, because I do use a PVC structure for those. But I wanted to try PVC with foam board just to see if it would work. I'm trying that now, but it is October. I'm a little behind on that. So normally I use a 1-inch PVC. That is just the standard that I use, and that's what I use on the Trachycarpus, and I'm doing that. But I am going to try, as you can see, a much smaller, I think this is the 3/4 inch pipe. And I'm going to see if I can make that work, because it is cheaper. And as we all know, usually when you go cheaper, it does not work. But I'm going to try anyway and see what happens here. So I'm going to try and put together a structure. I haven't quite figured out, I've got the right screws. I just don't know how well the foam board is going to attach to the PVC. I've only used foam board on wood, and my PVC structures for the Trachycarpus fortunae are covered in a frost cloth curtain. You've seen that process. You're going to see it again in November when I do it, because the Trachycarpus can withstand quite a bit of cold, and I really don't need to get them ready for winter until then. So that is today's experiment. I have a date palm that's rather small that is in the ground, and I do have some structures I could put on it, but I want to try it out because I thought, okay, it's small. I can experiment with that a little bit today, and let's see what happens. Here is the date palm in question. I grew this from seed. It's got some nice new growth in there. I just planted it here this spring. I'm going to do a 4-foot structure. Yes, that won't last very long, but this is a prototype. I'm going to do 4 foot by 2 foot, because then it will line up with the foam board I'm going to put around it. And I just need to subtract from 2 feet what the fittings will do, because I want it to line up correctly there. So I'm going to show that inside. My plan is to use a 1-inch foam board that's 1 inch, as opposed to, here you can see I used to get the 2-inch because I thought I had to do that much, and I really don't with the Christmas lights. So I'm going to do 1 inch, and I'm going to box it in so that the foam board will be exactly 2 feet,
across, and I just need to subtract on the structure so that I can layer it around, which I will show. This 20 pack of fittings was really inexpensive. These silly 3 that I need at the top were way too expensive, so I'm going to go online and try to find those if it works. This will be the bottom. And ideally I would have what I have up here at the top at the bottom, but they were so expensive and these were so inexpensive, I'm going to use these. So I'm going to have a bar going across on 2 sides at the bottom so I can anchor it into the ground. The problem with this tiny small tree that's under 4 feet is I can't use the tree to anchor the PVC. It will not work. So I'm going to use the ground to anchor the PVC. So it's a little bit of a hodgepodge there, but I wanted to explain what I'm doing. So if you're watching, you have no idea, you're like, okay, I kind of get what he's doing. I also need to take into account that these 2 add to the height of the PVC pole. So I can't just make the pole 4 feet tall. I need to subtract from that because otherwise the foam board won't line up the way I want it to. And I've already made a slight mistake, but it's not going to change things too much. I made the poles 44 inches to take into account for the 2-inch on each fitting, this fitting and this fitting up there. When I measured out though, because the pole does not fit, or the pipe does not fit all the way into the fitting, I'm actually 1.5 inches under 4 feet. So for the top going on, I'm going to have to take that into account and either take 1.5 inches off the foam board, which is a little bit of a pain, or bury it a little bit to get it level on the top for the foam board top. So going on the next one, I need to not do 4 inches, I need to take 1.5 inches off of that. So I need to measure out that a little bit better, do 2.5 inches off 4 feet so that I leave that extra 1.5 inches in there. So these are the fun math things you have to figure out, and I am not good at math. I have this together now, this one side, and I've taken into account that I want the foam board to intersect on one side, which I'll explain when I put it on. But in looking at this, I'm really thinking I don't need a bar on all 4 sides on the top. I really don't need this. I could actually put it together with the foam board because it's so lightweight, and have the foam board hold it up, much like I do with my wooden structures. So this expensive piece, unless I can find it cheaper online, I mean, it's a nice to have, but it just seems like it's not worth the expense right now because it was like $5 each, which is insane to pay for that, or $4.50. I'm thinking I could make this cheaper, but let's see what happens with this. I've got my 2 sides together. There's the bottom that I'm going to somehow attach to the ground. Here's the top. You can see I still have 2 more bars to put in, so it will go across. And so it's going to be square at the top. The bottom will only have 2 sides because I'm being cheap. And part of me thinks maybe that was not a good idea. But we will see what happens here. I did add PVC screws to hold them in place. You could glue this, but because this is a prototype, I don't know if it's going to work. I may have to take some things apart, and I didn't want to glue it into place. And it's together. I screwed it. I really think this should be on the bottom, and there should be 4 sides on the bottom. But the nice thing is right now, I can just slide this right over the palm if that's the case. But yes, I think I need to invest in getting these. I think it'd be much better to anchor it on all four sides down there and would keep the structure in place a little bit better. But fairly easy to do so far. Like, it's just, especially if you have a nice PVC cutter like that. So now I've got to figure out foam board. This will be the real trick. I really think it would work on the 1-inch. I'm trying to be cheap and do it with this one. This is how cheap can I go here? Not exactly perfect. I want this to overlap on one side, not the other side, so that the next board can come in under. And with the screws and everything, I could probably go a little farther out, so I need to make this just a little smaller on the next one, which I'm going to remember, but especially if I'm videoing this. So now I just need to make sure I can screw the foam board in. I'm actually feeling better about this. I feel like it's going to work. I feel like I made some mistakes here, and like I said, it's too long, as you can see, and I decided I will just trim off some on the bottom of this foam board, but I decided to leave the top nice and square so that the top will fit on it very easily. The good news is that the self-tapping screws went in. It was a little bit difficult to line it up, and I actually think the 1-inch would probably be easier to hit, but this did work. I need to cut the foam board off because it's too long, but in theory this works, and it seems to be in there really good, and it's so lightweight compared to wood. And so I definitely think this is an option. I'm going to continue to work on it. I was just in the pool with my friend Davey so long that I didn't even have time to take a shower. So I'm going to the rink with chlorine in my hair, and it's just funny. But I have to share, I was explaining my palm process, my new PVC holder to Dave, protection. And Davey just explained to me, why didn't I just put rebar in the ground and put the poles into the rebar so I didn't have to worry about the bottom part? How brilliant is that? Why didn't I think of that? Obviously, I am way too close to this project, and I kept just thinking I needed to recreate exactly what I was doing with wooden structures. But if you think about that, with the PVC, because there's holes in it, I can just slide the PVC over the rebar and it will hold it in place. So now when I get home, I have to go back into the garage with my prototype and play with it. But brilliant. So Davey, thank you, big time. That is gonna really save some time. So I'm excited to share this with you. I just wish it was my idea, but it is Davey's idea, and he's not even a palm tree person. He's just one of my really good pool friends. So there you go. But brilliant Davey the mechanic. It is a beautiful morning, even with the landscapers mowing next door. Got my coffee. I'm out here moving some plants. It is going to be well above 85 today Fahrenheit. That's about above 30 Celsius. So it's definitely a summertime day. I wish I'd taken the whole day off, but I have to work this afternoon. I'm definitely going to jump in the pool for a while. But Thursday, the forecast just changed, and the evening low is 36, which is about 2 degrees Celsius. So I have a lot of tropicals that are waiting to go inside. I'm going to try to get them up by the house. I think they'll be fine up by the house, and I tend to be warmer here anyway than the forecast. So that I do have some work to do to get that. But yeah, the cold weather's on the way, even though it feels like summer. I really hate digging up a Plumaria that is still blooming, and it's so pretty out here. And even the one next to it has buds on it. But I guess I really need to because of the weather, and it's that time of year. Plumaria are out. These are the 3 that were left. I hope this is the last 3. I've already pulled probably 8 or 9. I have quite a few Plumaria, but they're really easy to do. But the funny thing is, one of the people on Zone Pushers on Facebook asked me if I wanted some of his Plumaria, and I actually have to drive a couple hours to get them, and I can't refuse plants even when it's this traumatic trying to get everything done. So yes, I am next week probably going close to Pennsylvania and picking up some Plumaria, and that won't be in this week's episode, but it will be in next week's episode, as Evita is coming through, still looking for groundhogs, which are still all over the garden. This is the Bismarkia, the large one. I have a smaller one that my friend Paul gave me last year for my birthday. And so it's been out here. It's in a pot in the ground, because overwintering a Bismarkia outside is not a challenge I am set up for at all. And I'm not even sure if anyone has done it. I know Green Dragon tried to do it in Canada. I would love to hear if some of you have done a Bismarkia in a cold climate and made it work. I don't understand why it would not work, but that's a challenge I'm not doing this year, so it's going inside. The Bismarkia is free, and luckily the roots had not grown way down into the ground from the pot. It probably needs to be repotted, but I think I will wait till the spring to do that. I was digging out my Italian Cypress, which I'm very glad I left in a pot. It has some roots growing out, and I probably need to put it in a bigger pot, but I found another Plumaria. So I've got to dig that out too. And I'm glad I did that, because I did not realize it was back there behind the sunflowers and everything. And there's also well, let's just go over there. So hiding back in here, Plumaria. This is a big one. I just didn't see it behind all these lovely flowers. I forgot about it. I should have seen it. And then I have a sable palmetto back there too, but that is fine through the Thursday weather. I don't need to pull that right away. I would love to move all these zinnias out, but the bees are really needing them right now, so I'm going to keep them as long as possible here. And then while I'm over here, my figs are still not ripe. It is the beginning of October. It is about 85 degrees Fahrenheit out here, which is, I believe, over 30 degrees Celsius. And it is amazing. It is summertime. But I think I hear thunder. So what I hate, and is my garden meltdown of the week, I don't know if you can hear it on here. I'll see if it's recording. I have leaf blowers going like crazy in the background here. And because I have 1, 2, 3 neighbors to the north of me, and I have 2 neighbors to the south of me, that they're not right on top of me. I have decent privacy, but it's so loud out here right now, and I can't even imagine if I were on a 1 acre lot or a half an acre lot and they were right next door, and it just goes on and on and on. And for some reason, I'm just complaining. They'll do that one on Monday, and then the next one on Tuesday, and then the one over here on Wednesday, and then the one back over there on Thursday, and then Friday over here. And so I just kind of get an all week long session. It's not like it goes on all day, but in the United States, a lot of communities have banned gasoline leaf blowers. And now I'm wondering, in Europe, in the UK, Europe and the UK, what is your rule around leaf blowers? I have an electric one, so it's pretty quiet, but it's pretty loud back over there right now. I hope you can hear it on here. Beneath my Yucca rostrata is my Poinsettia. And this I have to dig up, and then it needs to go into a fully dark closet where it will be, except for 6 hours a day, and it has to be exact 6 hours. Seems really strange, but that's what I'm doing. And then it will be red, hopefully, by Christmas. Maybe. I've never done it before. My frog in the pond has a leaf around it, so it looks like it has a blanket on him. That's just one of my frogs. They're so cute. It is finally raining, which is fantastic, except the fact that we are now under a freeze warning for tomorrow night. So it is wet out here. At least it's warm right now. I've got so many things to get inside, even if it's temporarily, because it's just a freeze warning for Thursday night, and I have to spray them. There's so many things I need to do, so it's just going to be a collective get everything in. I've got some palm trees I'm going to cover up temporarily with tarps. I just got to get them through the night. I knew this might happen, but all week long it said it was like in the upper 30s, which is well above 0 Celsius. I thought we were fine, and now my friend Chris just texted me this morning and said, did you see the warning? So it probably won't happen here because of the river. The Hudson River really keeps things nice and warm usually. Even a mile inland gets much colder, but I'm not going to take the chance. So I am kicking into gear this morning, and I'm going to get as much done as I possibly can. I have moved the furniture so I can temporarily bring a bunch of plants into this room, and I brought in my fiddle-leaf figs that are in the front. And I'm interrupting the crisis at hand to show you some really beautiful water lilies that are still growing in my pond. With a prediction of possible 28 Fahrenheit or -2 Celsius, I'm putting Christmas lights temporarily on things in a haphazard way and throwing some tarps over things just in case. I'm not fully ready to cover everything because I'm behind, but this will at least get it through the night. I had time. I really think the palms would have been fine, but the tropicals, no, they needed to be protected. So I got them inside. Even my lotuses are in here. It is Friday morning, October 10th. It is 31 degrees Fahrenheit out here, which is about it's probably like -1.5 Celsius. There is a little bit of frost on the grill. There's no frost on the table. And you can see out here, I've got a couple of my palms covered. There is fog on the river right now, which I'm going to zoom in on. The fog is because the river is so much warmer than the air, so it's actually steam coming off the river. But I think I averted disaster. Hopefully the bananas just got a little touch of frost and they will last longer. You can barely see the bridge over there. I'm going to zoom in. But thank goodness it did not drop into the upper 20s, which is what I was nervous about. Such progress. The palms are being covered. The tropicals are being brought inside. Truly, no one does it better than I. You are a failure. You'll never get it done in time, Tim.
The palm trees want to move to Florida, and your friends only come over to swim because they're too cheap to go on a real vacation.
I'm only here because I can't afford Miami. I mean, I would go to the other pools, but do you ever hear rhododendrons?
I think I need to go inside and watch some television to cheer up. This will definitely get my mind off of all my troubles.
In world news today, international leaders gathered for a summit aimed at addressing climate change. Discussions focused on renewable energy and emission reduction targets.
Breaking garden news. YouTube megastar Tim has completely lost control of his tropical garden. Witnesses close to him are describing complete garden chaos. Collapsing palm structures and dozens of expensive plants not potted up yet. Witnesses have heard him crying in the grass for help.
Sources claim palm trees are considering moving to Florida. Negotiations are underway. Update at 11.
And in other news, Tim's martini bill has hit catastrophic levels. Richard's Tropical Garden Project here, bringing you the latest garden gossip from the USA to the UK.
This is fake news. It's all fake news. I'm going back outside. This is not fair. This is fake news. You know whose fault this is? This is Joe Biden and Barack Obama's fault. Wait, I don't think they're gardeners. Okay, it's not their fault. But you know whose fault it is? It is Rich's fault in the UK. It's Andrew's fault in Germany. All of them are against me. It's just not fair. I'm just Tim, a good gardener and a social media star. Why attack me?